Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I want to give you a little tour of our fall nature table. So this little space here is at the end of a long row of bookcases. All of those pieces are from IKEA and we just kind of pieced them together, so it doesn't come as one unit. And at the very end here, I had this little space that usually showcased any of our new projects that we were doing with our current unit, but recently I decided to turn this into a little nature space, and my daughter loves it. She's 6 and she really enjoys this space. She enjoys that it changes more frequently than in other areas of our schoolroom, and that's something that I need to be mindful for her. Once I get things set up, I just kind of leave them the way they are. So let me just pan around here, give you a little view of our schoolroom. The only other place that changes quite frequently is this space over here where we put the materials for our new unit. So right now we are doing rocks and minerals, and so I just have things up here that are, hands-on projects we've done, books that we're going to read, and then below here I have more things related to that unit. So this has turned out to be a really great storage space and just a easily accessible space for our current unit. And then on the ledge behind here where I used to put more of the things related to the current unit, we have our calendar peg dolls. And I'm really sorry about the light coming in from the window. It's going to make it a little bit hard to see them very clearly. So let me just show you the rest of this space here. On the other window ledge or windowsill, I have the alphabet peg dolls, so that what you see are the letters A through Z as uppercase and lowercase. And then on the window we'll hang some of our stars. Some of them you can see that there's a lot of light that comes in here, so sometimes it gets bleached out and they need to be changed out. But that's something that changes a little bit, but everything else pretty much stays the same. And so the nature table is a nice place to add things that we find in nature, or books that we want to read, or little crafts that we've done, or things that we want to do. So this table has changed a little bit since we put it together for fall. There were more things that we wanted to do here, and there were less projects that we had completed. But as the weeks and months have progressed and we are close to changing this out for winter, a lot more projects are showcased here rather than projects to do. So I want to show you some of the things that we've done during this month, or during this last couple of months. And for a lot of these projects I actually have tutorial videos, and so you can find all of that information down in the description box below. So the first thing I want to show you are these little adorable peg dolls. These were all fall inspired and recently made, and they decorate our fall table, and they are also playthings for my daughter. So she really enjoys having them, and of course they're all in colors of the fall, which I absolutely love. So nice oranges, reds, yellows, and browns. And I'm also looking forward to making a new set for her for winter, which for me winter is blue and white and silver, and so we'll be changing those out. Something else that we did was this stitching activity here. This is just wool felt that I cut in the shape of a leaf, and then we stitched it. Very simple leaf design as well, very simple stitching design. So I made a few of them, and then my children made some here. We also have some on this side, and then I tried one of these over here, but this leaf design was a little bit more time consuming to cut out, so I only made one, and we might make those next year so that by years and years from now, as we add more and collect more and do more, we'll have a nice assortment. So you don't have to get everything done at one time. You can really build your nature table over the coming years. But because when we do projects, I'm doing one to show my children, and right now the 2 children that are doing these projects are 11 and 6, we end up with 3 of everything really quickly. I want to show you these little candles that we made last year. These we made using some cookie cutter molds, And I think the trick is to use metal molds, so if they do get stuck, you can just dunk them in some hot water and then they pop right out. They just melt the outside and they come right out. And the other thing is that you want to pour them slowly, that way they don't seep out from underneath. So we made these last year, and then we made these ones this year, and the color's a little bit different. All of the wax I use to make my candles, I'm just upcycling them from candles that we already have and we've burnt down to the very little bits, and then we just remelt them and reuse them again. Now these are super cute, and we only burned them a little bit. We found that it's not safe to keep them on the table lit. It would be very unsafe. They burn very quickly and then they start to drip their wax. So it's more for decoration, and they smell really good. And you know, if we did want to burn them, we would need to be a little bit more careful about that. We also have things from nature. My sister brought back these acorns. They're beautiful. They're nice and large, and so they actually fit really well on this little peg doll here. And then we have some other things that we either found locally or things that we were given that came from other places, like this beautiful pine cone here that is different from the pine cones that are local. Our local pine cones look like this. And then this, I think, is from a cactus locally that we found. And then a couple other things. These are the acorns that are local to our area. So this is only part of the collection of the local things that we find during our walks or nature walks or things that we just collect over time. Some pretty leaves I found recently that, oops, it's stuck on that I put here, but actually I'm going to show you where we're going to put some of the larger things that don't quite fit on this table because it's gotten small. Well, it's gotten crowded, I should say, and also it ended up being more of a play area for my daughter rather than something that showcases the materials that we're finding in nature. So it's become this thematic display so that it just is inspiring when we get ready to do any of our morning activities or opening activities. So I have a couple of books here on display, and I did trade them out a little bit. I'm going to show you the other two. They're on the school table right now, but they're not there permanently. I just put them there so that you can see some of the other books that we're trading out. These are books from our own collection. You could certainly use library books. That would be really easy to trade them out a little bit more frequently. We also have some walnuts here, and we cracked the walnuts using this gorgeous nutcracker. Just beautiful. It's beautiful on display as well. And then with those little walnut shells, we made little walnut shell babies, which are adorable. We also felted some of these pumpkins. We did a wet felting technique for these ones here. And we also felted these ones using a needle felting technique. We also have this candle here. This is one that I recently poured. Previously, we had a pillar, a candle, that we used and burned down to the very little ends, and then we collected all of our little stubs and melted them and poured them into that jar over there, which works really well. It's a lot safer to burn that than these little beautiful decorative ones down here. We have a couple other things here, but for the most part, that is our fall nature table. We've used some fall colored silks to kind of decorate the space, and we'll trade those out with blue ones later on when we transition into our winter nature table. There's just a couple other things here. This doesn't have to be a permanent location for this, but it did work well for our fall nature table. And then we have just a couple other things up here that kind of relate, but also things that I tend to just keep here all the time. So let me take you over to the school table really quickly to show you the things that didn't fit there. This basket here is something that we've had for years, and it's a great way for us to display whatever we're finding in nature. I also use it to display some of the materials that we're using for whatever unit we are working on. So previously we did an ocean unit, so I had this decorated with shells, and it was either on the table or on that unit over there. And that way it was just a nice, easy way to transport whatever we had that was going to be either decorative materials, things that we were studying, things that I wanted the children to look at. We are in our rocks and minerals unit right now, and so it also had some gems and rocks and other things on it. And then right now I just traded that out because we had collected a lot of really beautiful pine cones and some leaves and some other seed pods, and so I went ahead and I removed the rocks and gems and I put this in here instead. And this will work really well for winter as well. The pine cones will work and transition well into winter. Some of the other books that we were reading for fall are this one here called Pippa and Pelly, and I have just ordered a new one for winter. This one isn't specifically for fall. It probably could work any time of year, but I know that there is one for winter that we are getting. And this one is called The Pumpkin Painter, and we read that one several times, and that's perfect for the fall. And I know that there will be one for the winter coming out at some point that we are interested in getting as well for our winter nature table. All right, so let me just show you one last look around the schoolroom. If you have a nature table, I would love to know what you put on it and how you use it. For my daughter, this has just turned into this magical play space that she loves to use and redesign and decorate, and it's just turned out to be just a really lovely space for her, especially if I'm working with the older children. She has something that just kind of captivates her imagination and keeps her busy. So if you want to check out our fall schedule, I've linked that on the screen right now. And if you want to see some of the other things that we're doing in our homeschool, you can visit me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.